Hello everyone, this is DD1 here, and today I'm going to be doing a quick video showing you guys the unreleased prototype of the Gemmy Hitchhiking Ghost life-size character. This item was originally planned out, designed in the very, very early 2000s, so I'm talking like 2002, 2003, 2004, and it probably would have been released in 2003 or 4, but of course it did not, and there was a lot of development that went into this piece. And as you can tell, it's very reminiscent of one of the hitchhiking ghosts from the Disney Haunted Mansion ride. However, this was not officially licensed at the time. Well, it was going to be, but then I believe there was an issue where they couldn't get the license for it. And then they were trying to make it as generic as possible or different as possible, and it wasn't really working out. And eventually it was planned that this would turn into a witch. So there would be just a witch hitchhiker item. And then that way there's no copyright risk or anything like that with the IP. But none of that ended up working out. This item was kind of sort of commissioned by the designer himself. He lived over there for about a year in those years. Well, that time frame, I should say. And while he was over there, he really pushed for this to get made, and he led the development on it. And as far as I know, there were, I think, at least 2 of them done, but this might be the only one. I can't really confirm that. This is the only one I know of to still exist, though. And it's very primitive in construction. It's got a very unique mechanism, a very unique way of moving. The designer actually brought it home for a bit because he wanted to try and fix it up and re-innovate on it and everything and get it to be better, but ultimately that nothing really came out of that, and it just kind of stayed in America in storage. But here it is now, and it's fully operational, and this thing actually does have a program to it. There's audio with flashing lights. The audio is not hooked up though, and that's because the audio is actually for the witch hitchhiking ghost. So this was probably made, and then they started on the witch, and then they threw the witch program in this or something. The timeline's kind of confusing. But I'll get some close-up views here. This is made of kind of like a polyfoam, like your gag studio item perhaps, but it's a little more soft. So it is flat. So you would not want to see this from the sides or the back, mainly just the front. So you can see some of the material under there from over time. When it's gone damaged, it was displayed outside at some point, which is probably a factor into some of the paint damage here. And there's some glitter put on it in various spots. There's the face, very reminiscent of the character. And then there's a motion sensor there. And then it has a folding base. And this is actually metal. It's painted like a Gemmy Items base, but it's metal. The designer said that in production this probably would have become plastic of some sort because it's very heavy metal. The mechanism is very interesting. So I will rotate him around so you can see it. So there's a lot to take in here, but you can see that the head attaches and that elbow up attaches. There's just like Christmas tree lights in here. And the same goes for the eyes. And then you have this kind of wheel here. And then you've got this pivot point, you have this spins, and this slides on this bar, which has to be lubricated and greased, or else it'll get stuck, and it's still decent. You can see there's some pink stuff all over the place. Anywhere where you see this, that means that it broke at some point and it had to be fixed. But yeah, this is a very kind of wild looking mechanism here. And it's been through a lot. And then on the inside, there's a little board and an EEPROM and all of that fun stuff. So there's not much else to show on it aside from it working, so we'll get into that. It is very tedious. Sometimes it wants to work, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to try and get it going. So you can see him going there. And this is him on 6 volts. If you power him with 9 volts, he will move quicker, but then his mechanism is much louder than this. So you can just hear from it, it's really not that stable. It's a very finicky design, but it's quite neat. Show the mechanism here. So you can see a lot of working pieces to this. I'm going to now turn off all the lights so you can see what he looks like in the dark. You can see he glows quite nicely. Let's do him in the complete darkness. It probably won't focus because of all the flashing. Oh, that's doing decently. So you can see there, it looks pretty neat. You probably would want some kind of projector on it with dim light on the front, just so you can really make out what it is. Yeah, overall, it's an excellent piece, I think. I would probably do a few changes to it. You know, the designer himself would have wanted to re-engineer the mechanism to move a little better. I mean, nowadays, for mechanisms, this is excellent. It's not something, you know, reusable. It's unique to the item. But probably to move it, make it move a little better, and maybe some audio. And I would want to include a little very dimly lit light blue spotlight that would go right there on the ground in front of it, and that could illuminate it. So that way it's a lot easier to see at night. Yeah, I think it's a really cool and unique piece. Maybe one day some company will get something made like this, but there's no telling, honestly. But for now, we have this, and I'm glad that I'm able to show it to you in a fully working order. Anyways, guys, that's about it for this item. Comment any questions down below and let me know what you think. Your comments are greatly appreciated. I'll let him finish out the video here, but that's about it.